This is macOS Ken.
A big day of updates, new Macs are on the way, and prepping for an earnings report. It is Monday, the 25th of October, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Comet Backup, a fast, flexible backup platform for business. Get a $50 free credit when you use promo code macOSKen at cometbackup.com. This show is also sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. Keeping up with your bills is good. Getting ahead of them is better. Upstart can help. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan handled all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get a simple, fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart looks at more than your credit score, factoring in income and current employment. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/macOSKen. UPSTART. That's upstart.com/macOSKen. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/macOSKen. Lots happening around the Apple watching world this week. Just about everything Apple makes is expected to get operating system updates today. New MacBook Pros should land in laps and on store shelves tomorrow. Apple's fourth quarter earnings call is this Thursday. Seriously, we will be as busy as Prince Humperdinck pre-wedding. Let us start with today. iOS, iPadOS, and tvOS 15.1 are expected out to the great unwashed today. They'll hit along with watchOS 8.1 and the first release of macOS Monterey to the general public. MacRumors ran a piece over the weekend focusing on marquee features in macOS Monterey that will not work on your Intel-based Mac. I'll run through a few of those here, not because I want to bag on Apple and not because I want to make you feel bad. Just running through them here because I don't want you to waste your time trying to figure out how to make something work that never, ever will, ever. If you have an Intel-based Mac running Monterey, you still have a great machine, but you don't or won't have portrait mode and FaceTime, Maps Interactive Globe, more detailed cities and maps, native object capture, new languages for Siri text-to-speech, nor on-device keyboard dictation. Still a great machine, just fewer new whistles and bells this time around, and likely every time from now on. Monterey's meant to arrive ahead of tomorrow's rollout of the M1 Pro and M1 Max-powered MacBook Pros announced by Apple last week. If you've been on the fence about picking up one of those, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says you are in for a decent wait. According to the report, custom configurations with higher spec options for the 14-inch MacBook Pro are slated to deliver as late as the 16th of December. Do the same for the 16-inch machines, and you could be looking at delivery as late as the 23rd of December. Less of a wait if you're willing to forego customization. If you buy off the rack, the 14-inch machines show up 3rd week of November, while the 16-inch machines arrive between the 4th week of November and the 1st week of December. Of course, Apple stores should have some units available tomorrow, Tuesday, the 26th of October, when the machines officially launch. News around new M-series processor performance that totally sounds sensible unless you stop to do the math. MacRumors ran a report over the weekend under the headline, 8-core 14-inch MacBook Pro around 20% slower than 10-core models in multi-core benchmark. Well, fewer cores, lower power, right? Okay, but I was talking to a friend who was a bit surprised by that finding. I mean, it makes sense from one direction, but seems lacking from the other. While 8 cores is 20% fewer than 10 cores, 10 cores is 25% more than 8 cores. Math. Messing with heads for millennia. Gets even more messed up when you remember that the 10-core model has 8 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores, while the 8-core model has 6 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores. That means 33% more performance cores for the 10-core model, doesn't it? For all 3 M-series processors, single-core performance is about the same. Multi-core, they pretty much run as one might expect, with the M1 Pro running faster than the M1 and the M1 Max running faster than the M1 Pro. So there. If you're an Apple Music lover, you've got a boatload of new playlists to check out. iDownload says the music streaming service has added over 250 playlists in the last few days, likely as part of the run-up to Apple Music Voice. Announced at last week's Unleashed event, the piece says Apple Music Voice lets users request any song, album, artist, or playlist from the Apple Music catalog just by asking Apple's virtual assistant with your voice. Apple Music Voice subscribers also have full playback controls, including unlimited song skipping, according to the report. What they don't or won't have is any sort of visual component. So no building their own playlists, no reading about the offerings, no checking out the album covers. Half price, though. When it eventually launches, Apple Music Voice will cost users $5 a month instead of $10. As for the new playlists, iDownload says they are grouped into categories like activities, inspiration and focus, self-care, get going and get out, sports and games, Zodiac, and more. Though apparently meant to beef up the audio-only offering, the piece does make clear that the new playlists are available to all users of Apple Music. Sizable changes for developers have landed. TechCrunch says Apple has amended the App Store guidelines. 3 new rules hit on Friday, 2 tied to developer-customer communication, and 1 to new functionality. The customer relationship changes allow developers to communicate with their customers about their payment methods available outside of the app. In theory, that could allow developers to offer purchases and services for less than they would in the App Store, since sales made outside the App Store won't be subject to Apple's 30% commission. As for the second change, TechCrunch says apps can now ask customers for information like name and email, though the ask has to be an ask, not a requirement for using the app. As for the functionality change, TechCrunch says that one's tied to in-app events, which go live on Wednesday. Announced at WWDC, the report says in-app events give app makers a better way to showcase things taking place inside their apps, like game competitions, movie premieres, live-streamed experiences, and more. The indication from TechCrunch is the events functionality is baked into iOS 15.1. While that should go live today, the in-app events won't kick off until Wednesday, the 27th of October. As mentioned earlier, the other big thing happening this week, scratch that, one of the other big things happening this week is Apple's earnings report for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2021. The coming report likely means a wealth of notes from analysts getting in final guesses this week. Starting us off, a note published on Friday from Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty. Apple 3.0 posted part of her note. While she thinks Apple's fourth quarter earnings will beat the street's expectations, she does not expect shares to pop as they normally would on a beat. That's thanks to a combination of general freakout around the supply chain and Apple once again choosing to offer color for the coming quarter rather than actual guidance. That is Huberty's assumption. As she says in her note, we don't expect Apple to provide a formal revenue guidance range and instead speak to segment-level growth trends as they have done for the last 6 quarters. Without hard guidance and with supply chain worry, App Store model changes, and iPhone sales sustainability all out there as questions, she doesn't see potential investors getting excited this week. Quoting her note, while we remain bullish on Apple's fiscal year 2022 outlook and expect estimates to improve higher post fourth quarter fiscal year 2021 earnings, we just don't see earnings alone as a material stock catalyst. Huberty has an overweight rating on Apple shares. Her price target on the shares is $168. If Apple's earnings call is a thing that revs your motor, you will want to clear out some time on Thursday. Apple will release Q4 numbers after the close of trading on Thursday, the 28th of October. Then about a half an hour later, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, Apple will host its quarterly earnings call with, one assumes, Apple CEO Tim Cook, Apple CFO Luca Maestri, and financial analysts. You can stream it as it happens on Apple's investor relations page. The company will make it available as a podcast soon after. Blogs will blog about it. Twitter will be a Twitter. And of course, I'll hit the highlights right here on Friday. More news in a moment. But first, I am very happy to welcome a new sponsor to macOS Can. It is Comet Backup. It's been a while since I haven't run any kind of backup, but I still remember the horror of hitting delete on the wrong thing like it was yesterday. Nuke the data on a PC I was getting rid of. That included years of addresses and phone numbers stored on my handspring visor. When I plugged into the next machine, info did not copy from the visor. The client on the new machine wiped out the PDA. By addresses, by emails, by phone numbers. Can you imagine something so catastrophic if you had to back up for a business? Oh, you do? Then you should check out Comet Backup. Whether it's ransomware, hardware failure, or human error, a solid backup can be the difference between a difficult day and losing days of business. Comet Backup is a fast, flexible backup platform for business and IT providers. Whether you're running a Mac, Linux, or Windows environment, you have total control over your data. With Comet Backup, you choose where the data is stored. You can store it locally or any of the leading cloud providers. You can host the servers yourself, or they can host them for you. We'll be talking more about Comet Backup all week. In the meantime, check them out for yourself. Test drive Comet Backup with a 30-day free trial at cometbackup.com. Plus, get $50 free credit when you sign up with the promo code macOSCAN. Start running backups in 15 minutes or less at cometbackup.com. If you happen to catch the 6% Apple Card daily cash last week instead of the normal 3%, that was a mistake, and congratulations. Over the past few days, a piece from iMore says, Apple Card users noted they were being offered a 6% daily cash rate applied to all purchases made on Apple Card. The company now says that this was not supposed to happen, but that anyone who bought something on that rate will get their 6%. In a message to affected customers, Apple said, "You'll see the one-time credit appear as a balance adjustment in the Wallet app. This will also appear on your October monthly statement. As a reminder, future purchases at Apple are eligible and will earn unlimited 3% daily cash. If you have any questions, contact an Apple Card specialist." Apple sort of threw open the doors on a new store last week. Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has marked the opening of its third store in Turkey. Apple Bagdat Caddeis in Istanbul welcomed its first customers last Friday. I say the company sort of threw open its doors because Friday's affair was very controlled. For health reasons, says the piece, the store's opening day had limited people, all of whom had to make reservations in advance. Something creepy this way comes, at least for Apple TV Plus subscribers. iMore says the Cupertino streamer has dropped a trailer for the South Korean sci-fi mystery series Dr. Brain. According to the write-up, Dr. Brain is an emotional journey that follows a brain scientist who is obsessive about figuring out new technologies to access the consciousness and memories of the brain. His life goes sideways when his family falls victim to a mysterious accident, and he uses his skills to access memories from his wife's brain to piece together the mystery of what actually happened to his family and why. You can see the unnerving trailer for Dr. Brain now on YouTube. The thing I find most interesting about the show is its release date. Like the problem with Jon Stewart, episodes of Dr. Brain will apparently release on Thursdays. They'll start that run on the 4th of November. We will wrap the day with a crazy list of items going up for auction. Okay, the first one's not actually that crazy. It's another one of those rare working Apple I computers. Known as the Chaffee College Apple I, Cult of Mac says the machines only had two owners, the Chaffee College professor who bought it originally, and the student who bought it off the professor for about $650. She stands to make a significant return on the investment. Bidding starts at $200,000. John Moran Auctioneers, the firm running the auction, puts its value between $400,000 and $600,000. One sold 8 years ago for $905,000. The Chaffee College Apple I goes up for bids on Tuesday, the 9th of November. Next item on the block, something almost no one has seen before. MacRumors says a prototype VideoPad 2 is headed for auction at Bonhams. I know, I had never heard of it either. According to the report, the VideoPad was intended to be a personal digital assistant device similar to Apple's Newton MessagePad series, with Apple testing 3 versions of the device between 1993 and 1995, including the VideoPad 1, VideoPad 2, and VideoPad 3, according to Bonhams. The auction company says the VideoPad 2 headed to auction is the only surviving concept prototype, and it is estimated to fetch up to $12,000. It's kind of strange that this one-of-a-kind thing would fetch so much less than the Apple I. Then again, that Apple I was probably built by Steve Wozniak and friends in Steve Jobs' garage. Woz and Jobs had nothing to do with the VideoPad, unless you count Jobs killing it. Started under CEO John Sculley, Jobs nixed the VideoPad project when he went back to Apple in the late 90s. Also no working parts, unless you count the hinged flip top on the device. Oh, there are holes in the shell for a camera, a display, speakers, a memory card, power, and a phone line. Holes left empty by the project's demise. Bidding for this relic of a future that never was is set for Thursday, the 4th of November. More Apple stuff in the VideoPad auction, by the way, including an early Mac prototype, the earliest known Macintosh to appear at auction according to Bonhams, an early iPad prototype, and, for the romantic in you, a letter from a very young Steve Jobs. Not romantic, but, you know. A piece from Apple Must writes up that portion of the Bonhams auction. In it, a 19-year-old Jobs writes to childhood friend Tim Brown. Apple Must says the letter sheds light on Jobs' thoughts on spirituality. I didn't get that from the letter, though his spiritual exploration is evident. In the February 1974 letter, he tells Brown of his plan to travel to India for that year's Kumbh Mela, a pilgrimage and festival in Hinduism. Other than that, Jobs seems dumbfounded by a letter that Brown had actually written to him, with passages to Brown like, I have read your letter many times and I do not know what to say. And after extending an invitation for Brown to come for a visit, you can tell me your thoughts and feelings, which I did not fully understand from your letter. I want that set. Still, handwritten letter from Jobs before the whole Apple thing is kind of awesome. It's expected to fetch between $8,000 and $10,000. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Comet Backup, a fast, flexible backup platform for business. Get a $50 free credit when you use promo code macOSKen at cometbackup.com. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.